In the jungle of Colombia, a single missionary reaches 11 remote villages and more than 700 indigenous people accept Jesus. In Angola, thousands of women prepare to help their communities. A group of students in Papua New Guinea preach about Jesus, and the initiative produces surprising results. In Madagascar and the Philippines, 2 men have their lives transformed after listening to Adventist radio. In Egypt, an Adventist school stands out for its welcoming environment and focus on the holistic development of students. Adrian Kohler talks about faith, motherhood, and life alongside the president of the General Conference of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. All this and more here on ANN. In the south of Colombia, near the border with Brazil, an Adventist missionary traveled more than 100 kilometers by motorcycle and boat to reach isolated indigenous communities. Working for several years, he reached 11 villages and witnessed the baptism of hundreds of people, mostly from the Sicuani ethnicity, who live in hard-to-reach areas.
In the most remote regions of our territory, where rivers are the pathways, the gospel is shared by building trust, and the mission is lived by listening, connecting, and forming friendships.
They have another way of communicating and socializing. Their language has 11 letters. To socialize with them, I went into their communities, integrated into their culture, went fishing with them, planted cassava in their small gardens. I loved to spend time with them, talking and telling them about Christ.
Traveling for hours on his motorcycle, Misael dedicates entire weeks to visiting remote communities where he ventures into the jungle to preach.
Working with my indigenous brethren is beautiful. It is the most wonderful thing that has ever happened in my life.
Thanks to Misael's initiative, the gospel has reached 11 of the 67 indigenous communities in that region.
Living the mission for me means getting involved with the indigenous brethren, spending time with them, preparing them for Jesus' second coming.
Today, nearly 700 persons have been baptized and walk with hope toward eternity.
Adrienne Marquez Kohler is the wife of the new world president of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, Erton Kohler. A trained nurse, she has worked in intensive care and is familiar with the limits between life and death. Today, she is pursuing a postgraduate degree in family psychology, focusing on family therapy. In this exclusive interview with Canal Terracota, Adrienne speaks about her faith, mission, and purpose.
Many people who seek me out, many friends I have helped, many families, and besides all the demand I have, I need to have more resources to help people. And besides that, besides my demand, the situation in the world, in families, and everything starts in the family. Everything starts in the family. All problems begin in the family. Everything comes from there. You start talking to someone because they have a life story, because of this, because of that. So I really wanted to study more about this, about families, because it's like, as they used to say, right, to us back in the day, the basic unit of society. It's the family. Everything starts there. I really want to help families more, even because of the experience I have. So, yes, I want to serve. To help, yes.
Even many pastoral families too, right?
Yes, exactly. Because we can share, right? It's so good when you, like someone once told me, about some difficult situations I've been through. The person told me like this, and it stuck in my mind. You know that many times your pain will become your ministry. So many things I've been through that I can help others not to suffer like I suffered. So that made me want to help more and study about it.
I think it's the greatest achievement.
This is my greatest purpose every day, and they know it well because I remind them of it every day. My biggest dream is that all 4 of us will be in heaven, because otherwise nothing here made sense. God is everything to me. God is literally everything to me. He is my best friend. He is someone I pray every day to never stop hearing his voice in everything in every detail. I am a person who likes to see God in the little things very much. It's amazing, you know? I have some really interesting stories with God because I've been trying hard to make God my best friend. Truly. Not that we say, oh, Jesus is your best friend, God is your best friend. But what is your conversation like with your best friend? It's like this, super formal. Of course there's respect, obviously, but it's like your best friend. You sit down and chat for a long time. I, as a woman, who I think might also have ADH, you start talking and you no longer know what you were talking about. You've already moved on to another subject. I do this with God. What am I going to do? You're talking here, and soon another thing comes to your mind. Then I often laugh and say, oh Lord, look, it started. That's what I'm worried about, but I'll go back. God gives us time, so it's really good to have Him as a best friend. And throughout my whole life, I can see His hand, and I would never have been able to get this far, not even alive, if He hadn't been with me. So I have many reasons, like for Him to be everything. And literally, He is everything. It's that song that speaks everything for Him. Because, yes, you know, without God, it doesn't make sense.
In Cairo, Egypt, a bilingual school stands out for its welcoming environment and the way it values the development of students. The school prioritizes a culture of learning, trust, and respect.
At the Adventist School, we offer more than just education. We provide a vibrant and welcoming community where students grow in knowledge, values, and character under the supervision of a dedicated team in an atmosphere of respect and encouragement.
This generation, God willing, will be the generation of the future, a generation that we are proud of. Proud to be teachers that taught them a better education and helped. How to help them? We help them by putting in our utmost effort to provide them with an education that can put them in their best shape. We want to see them doing well, God willing. The dream I have for the students is to see them in the best position and the best job.
The day here at school is very special, and the most important thing that distinguishes it is the encouragement and motivation from the teachers. Their support is very different from the support of any other school. They support us in a way that is not just support within the school, but also psychological and moral support as a mother or as friends to us.
We care deeply about bilingual education, and we prepare students to communicate confidently in English, equipping them for a globalized world while ensuring a solid academic foundation.
I just want to see them happy. I want to see them joyful and content in their lives, achieving all their dreams that they wish to fulfill. All I can do for them is encourage them, help them believe in themselves, and support them.
Diversity is at the heart of our school. We welcome students from different backgrounds and beliefs, creating an inclusive space where we foster strong family involvement and reinforce core values.
I would like to be a teacher like Misty Ham, teaching us things about studies and really nice things.
At the Adventist School, education is not just in books. Our students acquire essential skills like communication and teamwork in a supportive and encouraging environment.
My dream is to become a doctor, and the teachers are helping me. I love them very much, and they encourage me to achieve my dream, and the school is an important part of this dream.
To be honest, everyone here is very respectful in their interactions. Ms. Rania keeps the door open to everyone, listens attentively to parents, takes note of their concerns and suggestions, and notices everything happening in the school. Patrick is one of those children who truly loves school, not just likes it. And for me, that is the greatest reward I have gained from the school.
In April, a group of volunteers from Maranatha Volunteers International served for 10 days in Cuba. The team of 36 painted several buildings at the Cuba Seventh-day Adventist Theological Seminary, which Maranatha built from 1995 to 1997. Volunteers' work met a dire need, as the school does not have the resources to undertake this sort of maintenance. The group didn't finish all campus structures by project's close, but made great headway, painting the fronts of 3 building exteriors, the boys' dorm interior, and cafeteria. Another subgroup of volunteers did maintenance projects at a house church in a neighborhood called Casablanca. Building churches from the ground up in Cuba is complicated by the need to ship all construction supplies from other countries. But renovating existing structures to serve as churches requires fewer materials and is much faster. The 2 house churches that Maranatha has purchased will accommodate worshipers who live too far from other Adventist churches, as well as serving as outreach centers for their communities. Maranatha Volunteers International is a supporting ministry of the Adventist Church that mobilizes volunteers to build urgently needed structures around the world. Maranatha has been active in Cuba since 1994, building or remodeling more than 200 Adventist churches and the Cuba Adventist Theological Seminary. But Cuba's declining economy has prompted Maranatha to adjust efforts. Donors have funded 10 shipping containers of construction materials and other vital supplies in response to island-wide shortages. In addition to house church renovations, Maranatha is constructing the Nueva Vitas Church building from scratch.
From feared bandits in the community to faithful missionaries, from the desire for revenge to the path of forgiveness. Discover now stories of complete transformation through the waves of Adventist World Radio in Madagascar and the Philippines.
Meet Lajobi, a bandit leader in a remote region of southern Madagascar. He lived a life of crime, stealing, and looting. He would then hide his spoils in a secret cave. But during one raid, he stumbled upon an Adventist World Radio God Pod. Curiosity sparked. He listened to the 3 angels' messages, and his life changed forever. As Lajobi and his friends began meeting every Sabbath, they abandoned their criminal ways. Their group of thieves grew from 30 to 100. Determined to follow Jesus, Lajobi walked 3 days in search of a Seventh-day Adventist church. After baptism, he now leads 32 newly baptized men, from bandits to believers. God's grace transforms lives. Meet Jimmy, a soldier in the jungles of Mindoro, Philippines, where guerrilla warfare waged for over 50 years. He witnessed Gilbert, a feared NPA terrorist, murder his commander. Jimmy burned with rage and vowed revenge. Over time, Jimmy began listening to AWR radio and discovered Jesus, who forgives all, no matter what sins have been committed. At the baptismal event for former rebels, Jimmy spotted his enemy Gilbert. His anger flared with a deepened desire for vengeance, but remembering his Bible lessons, he paused, then chose forgiveness. He embraced Gilbert, and to the shock of everyone, declared, "I forgive you." God's grace transforms lives. Meet Evgenika, a 21-year-old woman from war-torn Ukraine. Amid constant bombing, no electricity, and the scarcity of food, she was filled with an unexpected peace. 2 years prior, in a town near Kiev, she met Ilya, a young AWR evangelist. Through his friendship and AWR's Voice of Hope radio, she developed a new faith in God that sustained her through the enemy's invasion. After Ilya helped her to flee the war zone, she attended Pastor Dwayne McKee's evangelistic meeting and made the decision to be baptized into the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Evgenika and Ilya married and are building their life together as broadcasters, sharing the 3 angels' messages for AWR's Voice of Hope radio across Ukraine. God's grace transforms lives. Meet Pastor Stephen, a seasoned pastor from the Jawaka Christian Outreach Center in Papua New Guinea. Let's hear his story in his own words.
Now, let's go to Angola, on the western coast of Africa. In the south of the country, a group of women gathers to share experiences and deepen their biblical knowledge. Motivated by the meeting, they act in their communities and contribute with relevant initiatives.
The 5th Congress of Adventist Women, held in the province of Huila, gathered around 2,700 participants. The meeting prioritized Bible study, reflection, and fellowship. It was 4 days of intense spiritual programming, with thematic lectures.
For you glorify to God in your body.
Moments of prayer, Bible study, sharing of missionary experiences, and much praise and worship. For Lena, participating in the Congress is a great joy and, at the same time, a privilege to be able to share what she learned with those who could not be present.
And it's a true joy to be here. We're receiving so much spiritual nourishment, with many messages being shared. It's unfortunate that several women who registered couldn't make it due to various challenges. We commit to being voices for those who couldn't be here.
Evelina, another participant, highlighted that the messages were conveyed clearly.
The camp is very good. The messages are being conveyed very well. We had a lecture, we had a sermon today with Pastor Osvaldo Candambo.
As a direct result of this spiritual movement, 7 people were baptized, publicly declaring their decision to follow Christ. Among the most exciting moments was the testimony of a woman who decided to abandon the practice of divination. She surrendered her witchcraft items, which were burned as a sign of repentance, liberation, and total surrender to God. The Congress was a success, not only because of the spiritual impact, but also due to the strengthening of the role of the Adventist woman in the Church's mission. The southern region of Angola reaffirmed its commitment to being an increasingly active and relevant church in its communities.
From Australia to Malaysia, a mission that builds more than just walls, a group of retired volunteers dedicated 12 days to raise a new church in a remote village in Borneo. The initiative, led by an 86-year-old pastor, reinforces that willingness to serve knows no age.
In the village of Kahubu, Malaysia, a group of retired Australians helped build a new church as part of a fly and build missionary project. For 12 days, the volunteers worked side by side with the local community under the leadership of 86-year-old Pastor Calvin Townend. While local workers took care of the flooring and roofing, the missionaries raised the walls, facing heat, language barriers, and limited structure. This was the 14th mission led by Pastor Townend in Sarawak, where he has been serving since 2008. More than just a construction, the experience reinforced the spirit of service and fellowship among the participants.
On the island of New Britain, in Papua New Guinea, Adventist students are making a difference in a public school. An evangelistic program led by university students resulted in baptisms and sparked the interest of the entire school community in the message of hope.
At the Karavat National School of Excellence, located in the East New Britain province of Papua New Guinea, a week of evangelism brought transformation. The outdoor meetings gathered more than 200 people every night, including students, teachers, and staff from various religions. With the theme, The Power of Choice, the messages were delivered by Pastor Gibson Yambi, who invited participants to trust in God and make choices that lead to a fulfilling life. The program, organized by Adventist students and staff, received full support from the school leadership. Even with a diverse religious community, the initiative was well received. In addition to spiritual reflections, the program included health lectures. At the conclusion, 11 students were baptized. Another 45 expressed the desire to follow the steps of faith in the coming months. Staff and school leaders praised the positive impact of the program, highlighting that the formation of values goes beyond academic teaching.
Kendu Adventist Hospital in Kenya celebrated 100 years of history, a century dedicated to health and mission. The celebration brought together thousands of people, including church leaders, local authorities, international medical teams, and community residents.
The celebration marked a century of service of a unit that, since 1925, has been working for healing and hope in Kenya. Founded as a small missionary station, the Kendu Adventist Hospital has become a regional reference in health. Pastor Philip Guy, the hospital director, recalls the early steps of the institution.
Missionaries Arthur Caskelen and Peter Nyambo came to Kenya in the year 1906. When they came, they settled on the shores of Lake Victoria near Kindu Bay town at a place that was called Gendia Hill. Now, as it was the custom back then, when the missionaries came, they would establish four main things: a church, a school, a publishing house, and a hospital. It was a missionary by the name G.A.S. Madrick who came to Gendia Hill in 1925 and established what was Gendia Mission Hospital, now known as Kindu Adventist Hospital. Now, this hospital, which was originally a 6-bed hospital, has grown over the years to a 170-bed hospital, now classified as Level 4 hospital according to the Kenya government classification. It sits on a 9.5-acre plot in North Karachuonyo Kakwa location near Kindu Bay town. It serves a wide population with a wide range of services, all for the glory of God.
Local leaders recognized the impact of the institution and advocated for the expansion of partnerships between churches and public health programs. Pastor Samuel Misiani, president of the Adventist Church in the western region of Kenya, highlighted the missionary legacy of the institution over the decades.
The moments in life best measured not in years, but in legacy. Today, we do not just mark 100 years. We stand in awe of a century shaped by mission, mercy, and divine purpose. Kindu Adventist Hospital did not begin with buildings or budgets. It began with a burden. Men and women called by God brought the first stone, not to build structures alone, but to build hope.
More than a hospital, Misiani stated, Kendu is a place where people find the touch of Jesus.
Kindu has never been just a hospital. It has been a place where the broken find dignity, where the sick find hope, and where the healing touch of Christ is felt.
The program included testimonies, acknowledgments, and inspiring music. Among the highlights of the celebration week was the free medical care, provided with the support of Loma Linda University from the United States. Under the leadership of Dr. Richard Hart, doctors, dentists, and volunteer students served over 3,000 people. A total of 109 surgeries, 1,200 eye care appointments, and 250 dental procedures were performed. The program reinforced the Adventist Church's commitment to holistic care, not only the spiritual aspect, but also the health of the body.
These were inspiring stories from the Adventist Church around the world that ANN brought to you this week. Learn more about the church at adventist.org and follow more news at adventist.news. See you in the next program. Until then.